coming in there. But on the sidelines of the ISA Steel Conclave, my colleague Shivani Bazaz spoke with Jindal Steel chairman Naveen Jindal and started by asking about how China's dumping is hurting the Indian steel industry and how big this issue is for the Indian steel industry.
Not only China, I would say China, Korea, Vietnam, and a couple other countries. The imports have risen anywhere from 50% to even 80% compared to last year. So obviously they want to protect their domestic market, and whatever extra production they have, they want to dump it in India. And with some of these countries we have FTAs also. So they have not really respected the spirit of FTAs, and they have been dumping steel into India. And it is causing grave injury to the Indian steel producers. Because when people produce steel in India, the Indian manufacturers, so Indian steel producers are the ones who are giving employment to millions of people. We are the ones who are giving income tax. We are the ones who are cross-subsidizing transport, if it's railway freight. We are the ones who are cross-subsidizing electricity tariffs. Okay, we are the ones who are giving highest royalty and taxes on all the minerals. Okay, we are the ones who are paying more than 100% premium on coal, on iron ore, on so many minerals. So it's very important to protect the domestic industry. And India is a very competitive, steel industry in India is very, very competitive. There are more than 1,000 producers of steel and hundreds of large producers of steel, and it's all distributed all over the country. And it's a fiercely competitive market. And prices of steel in India are lower than anywhere else in the world. Okay, so but when you say the imports are coming in at lower prices, it's just because those countries or those producers in different countries, to protect their domestic industry, they just export at very low prices, at predatory prices into India. Because India is a very large market. We are the most populous country in the world. So that's why we have written to the Finance Ministry, we have written to the Steel Ministry, and the Honourable Steel Minister has assured us that the government would be taking up steps. So we are very confident that government will take steps. I can assure you that Indian steel industry is very, very competitive. We are very, very efficient. We are efficient steel producers. Our steel plants are very modern. But still, we have to safeguard the Indian industry against these unhealthy imports.
So if anti-dumping laws were to be made and if taxation were to be increased, what is the how much is enough? What is your sense?
You see, again, it depends from country to country. But say if you take examples of USA, Canada, they have imposed suo moto 25% duty. Similarly, now Japan, can you imagine? Japan is also asking for protection, Japanese steel industry. So the situation is serious. We are very efficient steel producers, so we can challenge them. But then the steel industry in India, they must have some surpluses also to be able to invest in growth, to be able to decarbonize. Decarbonizing is very important for everyone. So we do need resources to be able to do that. So the health competition must be healthy. So we are only against the unhealthy competition that we are facing from some of these countries, and I'm confident that the Government of India is going to take the necessary steps.
So the minister spoke about raising it for 7.5 to anywhere between 10 to 12. Will that be okay for the steel industry?
That would not be enough, because these prices, see, if they were selling at, and we put say 12.5 or 15% duty on the price at which they're selling in the domestic markets, it would be fine. But the market they are losing more than $100 per ton when they are exporting, and which is being subsidized by their governments as per the information that we have. So that's an unhealthy prices. They are not realistic prices. Those are just prices for dumping of their material to protect their domestic industry. But it is hurting our industry, so we have to safeguard against that.
Okay, so last question, how do you see the steel demand across the country? Do you think monsoons has sort of dampened the mood, and what is the kind of outlook that you see?
Okay, so steel demand is only going to increase in the country because we have a huge population, right? 1.4 billion people, and our per capita steel consumption is only about 100 kg, whereas the world average is 230 kg per person per annum. So there is a huge potential of increasing our capacity, increasing the steel consumption, because we need to build a lot of infrastructure, we need to build a lot of homes for people, and government is very serious about all these things. And then we are to be a Viksit Bharat, a developed country by 2047. So for that, a lot of construction needs to happen, and steel is a very, very important ingredient in that.
Well, some very important commentary coming in from Naveen Jindal of JSPL. Most